How's it going, everyone? My name is Green Leader, and you guys are watching Green Squadron TV. Tonight we are going over a couple of things that happened during the week. We're gonna cover the new Switch that was just announced. Well, pseudo new Switch. We're gonna cover a new Lord of the Rings game, and then we're gonna go over the state of play that happened yesterday, if you're watching this live, or last Thursday, or whenever you guys are having to watch it. And we're going to kind of go over all the different announcements and games that they actually released and covered during that whole state of play. So that is the plan. That's what we'll be doing. But before we head into that, we are going to take a look at Watch Dogs Legion. They have a new DLC. I'm not sure if it is, in fact, already out, but it is. I know they released a trailer for it a little earlier on in the week. The announcement trailer for their new DLC called Bloodline, which is supposed to feature Aiden Pierce, which it's kind of cool that they're bringing back a protagonist from the first game back into, or not back into, but into the newer games. And this is the first time they brought Aiden Pierce back since the first game, so that's actually kind of cool. Yeah. Well, let's just quickly go ahead and get straight into it and take a look and see what they actually have waiting for us. First of all, let me get this up and running. There we go, full screen. And then let's also just pause.
Got a simple job for you, Aiden. Huge payday.
What's the catch?
It's in London. That's where your nephew Jackson lives, right? Anyway, the job's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so just to give you guys a heads up, I actually haven't played Watch Dogs Legion yet. I've played the original Watch Dogs. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I didn't finish it, but I did enjoy it. I just have my usual nonsense of me not finishing. I haven't played 2, and I haven't played Watch Dog or Legion yet. I was kind of excited for it based on kind of like what they were talking about with you're almost like setting up your own little like almost like an Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And I know it's technically in the same universe, so I mean, there is kind of that crossover there. I don't know. I haven't delved too deeply into the game, but I think that's pretty cool. And then they're talking about his nephew, which I know his family, his sister, and his niece and nephew were kind of a big part of that, so that's actually kind of cool. I don't know if you actually play as the nephew in the main game, but that's an interesting touch there.
That's where your nephew Jackson lives, right? Anyway, the job's pretty straightforward. Break inside Broken Tech and steal a device giving control over an army of weaponized robots. That thing must not fall into the wrong hands.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Easy, easy. Hey, I know you.
Give me that.
This, no.
3.
I need it for a thing.
2.
Okay, I guess we're doing this.
Okay, interesting. Oh, come on, Aiden. Oh my.
All I need is that little device stolen by your partner. The one in the stupid mask?
I can find him.
I just don't think I can trust you without some insurance.
Interesting.
I'm just tired of criminals and con men running the world.
I need you to pay attention.
Oh, hold on. Let's go back. When is the release on that? Available July 6th, so it is in fact already out. That's actually pretty cool. An interesting way to announce a game. Let's just announce it the moment we release it. Ballsy move there. Ballsy move there, Ubisoft, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the confidence that they have. And you know what? I mean, if it's already ready to go, why wait? Just throw it out there. I get it. And they claim it's an announcement trailer. I don't know if this has been announced yet or not. I haven't actually like looked up on this as to whether or not they've previously announced it. Let me just take a look here. Here we go. Watch. Is it one word or two word? No, it is 2 words. Watchdog Legion Bloodline. When did they announce this? Because the video says it's an announcement trailer. Okay, interesting. June 12th. The video that I'm seeing here. See, well, this is July 6th. That is most interesting. Unless they just announced the date, which is, yeah, here it is. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. So they did release a trailer on June 12th. I did not know that, but still, that's pretty cool. That's cool that it's out now. So that's awesome. I haven't seen it yet, so this is my first time actually seeing it. I think it's pretty cool that they're bringing back Aiden Pierce as a protagonist back into the Watch Dogs fold. Interesting to see, and I feel like it's been a decade. When did the original Watch Dogs come out? It's been a while. Let's take a look at the release date. Okay, so not quite a decade. It's been 6 years. But I mean, still, it's been a while since the original Watch Dogs came out. And 6 years with a guy who must have been alive during the second game and now this game. So I think it's kind of cool that they're bringing him back. And interesting to see him interacting with, you know, other hackers of essentially a newer generation. And yeah, you do rely a little bit on this sort of, you know, they're holding his family hostage again, which is from the first game. But hey, if it works, it works. We'll, you know, if anyone's actually played the game, please let me know, either in the comments or the chat. What you guys think? Is the story good or not? If you guys have played it, so. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for it, and I'm definitely gonna check it out when I do actually get into Watch Dogs Legion, which, to be honest, is probably gonna be for a while. That's just how I always take forever to play these open world action adventure games. I enjoy them. I love the hell out of them, but I just take forever to play them. That's my biggest problem. But anyway, pretty cool little announcement here. I like it. I think it's awesome. So I'm glad they're bringing Aiden Pierce back. I liked him. Granted, I think they may not have written him as well as they should have in the first game, but I think he's going to be pretty cool in this one. A little bit grittier. I don't know, but I think it's going to be cool. Just my opinion. Okay, so that was the first one. The next one we're going to check out is a new Lord of the Rings trailer that they brought out. Is it going to be a PlayStation exclusive? I didn't realize PlayStation was the one who actually released it. Is Lord of the Rings Gollum going to be a PlayStation exclusive? Let's take a look at this. No, it's coming out on all of them. It is coming out on all of them. PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, 23, X, 58, X, because horrible naming convention. Now, this is actually one I didn't see before. It's coming to the Switch. That, I think, is cool. I want to see... I really want to see more cross-platform games coming to the Switch, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. I like that. Anywho, guys, let's go ahead and check out this trailer. So, this is apparently a new look at the game. Take a new look at the game with developer... Daedalic Entertainment? I don't know. I never quite know how to say some of these names. I think it's Daedalic. I'm horrible at pronouncing some of these names. Okay, let's check this out. This is supposedly... It's Gollum, so I figure you play as Gollum himself.
Producer at Daedalic Entertainment, and today I'm happy to reveal some exciting details about our upcoming game, The Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to pause it. Get the sound a little louder.
Gollum has always fascinated us. While being completely essential to the story written by J.R.R. Tolkien, Gollum's long chase for his precious ring has never been told in detail. Yet his incredible journey from Mordor through Mirkwood to the mines of Moria takes players to places they haven't seen like this before, while setting the stage for events that will ultimately decide the fate of all of Middle-earth. Gollum has pretty much traveled everywhere. He's also pretty much met everyone, and by looking at events from his angle, players will experience Middle-earth through the eyes and twisted mind of one of the most iconic characters of all time. All of that in our very own artistic style. From his time in the slave pits of the Dark Tower to his stay with the Elves of Mirkwood, Gollum will creep, sneak, and trick his way past faithful, detailed environments, some of which have never been seen before in such detail. The Lord of the Rings Gollum is a cinematic stealth action adventure. It mixes stealth and parkour gameplay and really leverages Daedelic's expertise in crafting engaging stories. Gollum is no traditional hero. He's learned not to take any sides other than his own, and some of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth want him either captive or dead. In the game, you will meet some iconic characters, but also interesting personalities less known to players, but nonetheless essential to the events unfolding. We've been highly faithful to...
It sounds... Not to take away from the trailer, it does sound like he's reading from a script. Nothing wrong with that. I just think it comes off as a little dry, but it is what it is. I mean, developers, trust me, developers are not people persons. People? I don't know. But generally speaking, we're not necessarily as well spoken as many other people. But I appreciate when developers do try and take their time to talk about a game firsthand rather than just handing it off to some PR person.
The descriptions in the books depicting, for instance, the Moth of Sauron, the lieutenant of Barad-dûr, who is constantly scheming on behalf of his Dark Lord. In the game, we will see his face for the first time, but also Thranduil, king of the elves of Mirkwood, father of Legolas, and last
I was gonna say, that looks like Legolas is dead.
The wizard. We're all super excited to be working on this amazing project, and we can't wait to show you more. Stay tuned on social media at Gollum Game.
That's pretty cool. Interesting. It's an interesting take. I like it. It is not something I would have thought that they would have done for a new Lord of the Rings game, but I actually do appreciate that. It's kind of an interesting take. And to be fair, I mean, if you watch the movies, you've seen a lot of Gollum's story. And it does make me actually question where they're getting some of this information from, right? Are they just writing the story completely? Are they taking from another source? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where the story takes us. But I mean, Gollum in a stealth platforming game actually could be kind of interesting. In fact, thinking about it, that does actually seem kind of reminiscent of another game that came out a while ago. What was it called? Where like you play as like a goblin and you're trying to... Oh gosh, I've forgotten what it's called. I'm just gonna have to look for it. Goblin, if I can spell it. Goblin stealth game. This will probably... Styx! That's right, Styx Master of Shadows. I'm betting it's probably along a similar lines as this, except I would think that there's not really going to be, like, I mean, it's a stealth game, but there is some combat, right? So you can actually kill characters in Styx Master of Shadows, whereas I don't think Gollum really spent a lot of time killing, right? Because because he's been twisted, like, he's not necessarily strong, but he has a lot of endurance, so on and so forth. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And this really does seem like a preview, because I mean, they definitely showed it as being like they even say on here pre-alpha gameplay footage right here. So that's... I'm gonna be interested to see where this goes and how well this actually does. I think it's got a lot of potential. So Will it be as good as, say, you know, as some of the other Lord of the Rings games? I don't know. But this is definitely something new, and I feel like particularly the stealth platforming is going to be an interesting change of pace. So, yeah. Anyway, now that we're done with that, relatively short trailer. Not really a lot. I mean, there's not really a lot to glean from it, right? Just stealth action, Gollum, and you're going through essentially his storyline. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what other details actually come out. Speaking of which, as I was saying, I'm kind of interested, or not interested, but excited to see that the game is going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch. It's not just, you know, the usual multi-platform of, oh yeah, we've got Xbox, PlayStation, PC, but it's actually going to be coming out on the Switch. I think that's pretty cool. Particularly as they're now coming out with a new Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo just released, or announced, yeah, it's an announcement, a new OLED Nintendo Switch. I think it's going to be a slightly bigger screen. It's going to be a nicer brightness and color settings because it's OLED rather than whatever they had before, which I think is just a straight LCD screen. Sorry. And yeah, and obviously a new color scheme. This is just a nice white and black trim. Just pretty straightforward, almost bland, if you will, version of the Switch, but it's clean. It looks clean. So let's take a look at this. Let's actually pause the music this time first. The OLED model. And then this is obviously it's from the trailer of the new Metroid game, which I think is going to actually be really good. In fact, before we continue, isn't that actually going to be like the first proper Metroid game since the Wii? I don't think the Wii U had a proper Metroid game, and there's no, I said Wii U. Yeah, I don't think the Wii U actually had a proper Metroid game at all. They had like a weird pseudo Metroid game. But yeah, I think the last one was Other M on the Wii. So it'll be nice to get back to. And this looks like more of a traditional Metroidvania game, which is going to be great. 7-inch screen, so it's a bigger screen. Okay. A new back plate for angling it. I like it.
Checkmate.
Still gonna have the dock, which is good. Nice. They have a proper LAN port. Hold on. Can we pause this for a second? They still I'm assuming from this, because they made it kind of obvious. If you look at this part of the trailer here, not the LAN port. Notice he's on the phone. Is this really them officially advertising that the best way to communicate with your friends is by calling them on the phone? in game, like to be able to talk to them in game rather than having some sort of integrated audio or even having like you could get Discord integration into the Switch. That'd be the first console to properly have it, and it's a free service. Sorry, that was just bothering me for a second. Mario Party. Another one of these weird fitness games. Okay. I don't see anything new there, but okay. So not really a lot new. I'm just gonna mute that and just have that playing, and then while we're doing that, we can set this up. Okay. So what do we get from this trailer? Obviously them showing off the trailer from Metroid here at the very beginning, but I mean, there's not really a lot new with this model in terms of like anything like crazy new, like new processing power or anything like that. It's pretty much a new screen. It's an OLED screen, which is becoming more and more industry standard with TVs, monitors, etc. So that's cool. And it's a bigger screen, right? Obviously as soon as I can find the damn mouse, there we go. We go back to this. Obviously, they're trying to show off the fact that that's what the old Switch was. Now this is what it is now. It's slightly bigger, gives you a nicer experience, nice play experience. It seems like they're really trying to go for a better experience in the portable mode, which I think is great. I really do think that is great. I don't really see a lot of new features in terms of gameplay, in terms of like better processing, you know, a better adjustable thing. If I can, here, let me get my Switch. For any of you not familiar with the Switch, the original Switch, as I pull out my nice little Mario case here. My dog did not like me. I made too much noise in here. My dog's like, no, I don't like it. On the original Switch, on the back here, she's gonna go a little crazy. The stand was just a single little thing, as you guys can see here, right? Pretty flimsy. It works, right? But, oh gosh, as it literally does what I thought it was going to do, which is, you know, if you don't have it out properly, it can cause the Switch to kind of almost tip over. So that is definitely an improvement over what they had currently. So I appreciate them at least making that, right? That's a good change. That's definitely a good change. But again, like, is this like a crazy upgrade? It's just like a bigger, more appropriate piece of plastic to hold up your Switch and angle it. Enhanced audio. I don't know what that means. What does that even mean? Like, just better audio? So better audio in what? Handheld mode? So if you're playing, say if you're playing with your headphones, or if you're playing on the TV, it's not really going to affect you. So it seems like a lot of the, now this sorry, before I go back to what I was actually saying, this LAN port is probably their best thing for, their best improvement for the dock mode, which is the fact that they now have a dedicated LAN port, which I'm actually surprised they didn't do in the first place. Because it definitely improves online multiplayer. But then again, I shouldn't be too surprised, because Nintendo has this weird sort of thing where they're not really fans of online gaming. I don't know what it is. Like, they like the internet seems like a weird, strange place for them, and like a lot of their online features are not great, right? You don't like, there's no voice over IP, you know, there's no VoIP options with the Nintendo Switch. You have it with Xbox, you have it with PlayStation, even not with the Switch. You have it, particularly you have it with PC on Discord, which again is why I say I really wish they just integrate Discord. Like, that'd be super easy for them to do. But whatever. But at least now that they've got a dedicated wired LAN port, it makes it a whole lot easier than rather than having to go and buy some sort of USB LAN port, so you could actually set up, you know, a wired connection to your modem. So that's a nice move. But like everything else seems to be geared very much towards handheld play mode, which is fine. I appreciate that they are working to improve that. I have actually enjoyed it. I haven't had any real problems with the handheld mode, other than just a few, you know, frame rate issues when you're dealing with lots of explosions, like say in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, I think it's interesting. It's not a major upgrade. If you didn't get a Switch before, this is probably your time to get one. If you are wanting just that nicer screen upgrade and you can't live without it, this is great for you too. But is this like a major improvement? No. And there was something I did want to take a look at. So my buddy Big Lou, he was kind of complaining about this. I was talking with him a couple of nights ago. The OLED resolution, I don't think has changed from the original, has it? Here we go. It's from Insider, Business Insider. What is up with Business Insider? I always randomly find some decent articles about game stuff from Business Insider. I don't understand it, but hey, I appreciate it, guys. I really do appreciate it, Business Insider. Yeah. Okay, so TV output is 1080p, hasn't changed. Storage does give you, so it does double the storage between the original and the new one. That's good. Same Wi-Fi, AC, Bluetooth, whatever. Yes, looks like it's about the same battery life. Yep, USB-C with a 3.5mm headphone jack. Nothing changed there. Where's the, like, there should be a, oh, there we go, 720p, yeah. So it's the same resolution, just a slightly bigger screen. Same output resolution for both. Now, my buddy he was getting a little irritated that it's not a 4K resolution. He was talking about rumors. I'm like, disregard the rumors. This is essentially just a slightly upgraded Switch. If I were to compare it to, say, like the Xbox, this is like the Xbox One S that they released like a year or two after the original Xbox One was released. It's a slight improvement. It gives you some better performance, and you get some, you know, it's just slightly better overall, but it's not an entirely new console, so you shouldn't expect an entirely new console. So, yeah, here you go. On the downside, Nintendo Switch OLED is missing some key hardware improvements that many buyers were expecting. I don't know why you'd be expecting it. Who was telling you that there was 4K resolution? Namely, video resolution in TV mode is still capped at 1080p rather than the expected sharper 4K resolution. Yeah, I mean, if you're hearing it from rumors that there's going to be 4K, I know what 4K is. Come on, man. I thought you were going to pop me out to like an article that showed the rumor, but apparently not. But yeah, apparently that was rumors that was what it was going to be, but it is not. This is not a Nintendo Switch Pro by any means. This is just a slightly better version of the original Switch. It's not a major improvement. So, and again, this is why I say, who is this really for? This is really for people who did not get the original Switch and would like to get one that's got a better screen and a better... I would assume that they've fixed some of the controller issues, because I know there's been issues with like the joystick drag on the Joy-Cons, which it is irritating. It is very irritating. Now you could do like what I did, just get like a Power 2A Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which is cheaper than the officially branded Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but it's actually really good. It's a very solid, yeah, Power A, not Power 2A, Power A controller. But it's fantastic, and it works wonderfully with the Switch. I would recommend that. But yeah, should people who already have a Switch go out and buy it? Not really, not unless you're one of those Nintendo fanboys who have to get the newest version of the Nintendo's, you know, of anything Nintendo whenever it comes out. Like, beyond that, it's fine. Leave it. You're good to go. It's really for people who haven't gotten a Switch already, or are maybe looking to upgrade their Switch because maybe they've sat on it one too many times or something like that. So, yeah, it does make me feel sorry for anyone who decided to buy a regular Switch or a Nintendo Switch Lite, like, you know, within the past couple of weeks before they even announced this. So, yeah. But anyway, is it gonna be good? I think so. They've got a good track record of making good quality, but they also have a weird track record of making dumb decisions. So I don't know. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Nintendo. I always want them to do really well, but then they do things that are bizarre to me. This, I think, is a good decision for them. This is a good decision for them. I just want them to make less bad decisions like the Labo stuff, which is just doesn't make any sense in my mind. So, yeah. Now that we're done with Nintendo, let's go to Nintendo's arch nemesis here. They're not even Nintendo's arch nemesis. It's just they are Nintendo's proclaimed arch nemesis because of what happened with the N64 and all that stuff. You guys can go Google that yourself, but essentially Nintendo had a deal with Sony, and then like the day after they announced it, they broke it off because of other reasons. So yeah, Sony got pissed, and that's how the PlayStation was born. And yesterday, they just released a state of play. They released a whole bunch of they have a whole bunch of trailers for new games that are coming out, and just kind of showing off some of the gameplay and features. So we're gonna go through this. We're gonna watch the whole thing. I'll be stopping between each game and kind of discussing kind of what we've seen there. So let's just go ahead and just take a look at it. First things first, let's pause the music. Polyarch.
There are those who look into the eyes of another and see opportunity. A soul to corrupt and twist. Their stories are the ones we fear. And there are those who see potential. The light within the soul. A chance to lift someone up to achieve the impossible. Their stories rise to legend. So tell me, what do you see in Quill? Because her story depends on you.
No. Moss, Book 2.
Thanks for
Okay. So, that's pretty cool. I don't know if this is the first announcement of it, but it's certainly it certainly seems that way in my opinion. And again, I haven't really been paying too much attention to the game news until I started the podcast again. But it's pretty cool that they're actually coming out with a sequel to this Moss game. I didn't play it originally, but I watched several streams of it. It is adorable. It is a great little action adventure game, and I think it's great that they're actually making another one. I don't know. Let me just double check this. I don't know if the original was hold on. I don't know if the original was a Sony exclusive or let's just close this. No, see, it's not. It's on Steam as well. Let's just see when it was released. Yeah, it was released to both PlayStation 4 and Microsoft Windows at the same time. So it's a console exclusive. So that's interesting. So if you're on PC, great. If you're only an Xbox owner, you probably can't play the new one that's coming out. At least I would assume anyway that this is going to be the same way. It's going to be a console exclusive on PlayStation, and then it's going to be available on Steam as well. So, but yeah, it looks great. It looks probably like more of this more of the first game, and yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks adorable. I would definitely want to play it. In fact, I still kind of want to go play the first one. I never got a chance to play it, but I did watch a whole bunch of streams of it, and it really does. It looks like a fun little adventure game, and it's great. So, not really much else to say about it. Not really a lot of information on it, besides just kind of what we see here. Just a little bit more of, you know, just more puzzle, action, adventure-y stuff. Nothing really crazy revealed here other than just the game exists and it's coming out. In fact, I don't even think they give a release date. Yeah, no release date.
Thanks
So
for kicking off our new state
not quite
of
sure
play,
when that's
Quill.
coming out.
Moss 2 is currently in development for PSVR.
Okay.
We've got some more exciting updates today, so let's keep it going. Here's a flashy new multiplayer shooter from the team at Ilphonic.
Okay. Complete challenges to earn street cred. Okay. So you're trying to save an arcade, you're completing challenges. Fight savage enemies and dynamic hordes. Okay. Conquer ever-changing stages in unique biomes. Play solo or up to 4-player co-op. Okay. Battle your friends mid-run in PvP challenges. Oh, that's kind of cool. Character customization. Loot everything. I swear every game these days has to be a looter shooter like this. Nothing wrong with it. I just, you know, a lot of games do this, so this isn't too crazy. Game launch in 2022. Nice.
That was your first look at Arcadegeddon, which begins early access today for PlayStation 5.
Ooh.
Tribes.
So that's actually yesterday. Let's see if I can. Really? There we go. So that's actually kind of interesting. Interesting little looks like just, you know, 4-player co-op PvE with a couple of like just fun little mini games as well, which is pretty cool. I believe this is the one thing that does irritate me with the like the Sony whatchamacallits, or not the Sony, but like the console specific events where they show off stuff. They don't actually show like how is it going to be released. Is it going to be released everywhere? Is it going to be a console exclusive? What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm just trying to do that. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Arcadegeddon. How's it being released? It's available on the Epic Games Store, interestingly enough. How's it going, Puck? 2 days ago. Yes, I know. Because of your East Coast time zone. Yeah. No, yeah, so it's available as of yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on what time zone you're in. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, it could have been last week, but it's 2 days ago from when I watched it, or yesterday from when I watched it. From when this was recorded, I should say. But it looks like it's going to be available on... It's another console exclusive from the looks of it, so it's going to be available on PlayStation, and it's going to be available on PC. There we go, yeah. It's a PS5 and PC multiplayer shooter. Okay. So it's... If you're into Sony, if you've got a PlayStation, you've got some great games, but if you also happen to be on PC, you know, you can play it on both areas. Or on both platforms. I am curious, is it going to be cross-platform? Because, I mean, this looks like it would be a great game for that type of thing. Because, again, it's PvE 4-player co-op shooter. It actually looks really fun. Looks actually just like a dumb, fun shooter. With, like, almost a Borderlands-esque feel. I might be wrong on that, but, I mean, it does kind of have a bit of that feel, particularly with like the looter shooter aspect of it. I don't see anything that says cross-platform. And this is some weird aggregate site, which is not going to actually take me to the news article itself. Okay. Just curious if it's cross-platform. Can you tell me this? I don't... At least as of right now, right? Because remember, it is in alpha, essentially, right now. So they may add it later on, but as of right now, it's not available for cross-platform. That is the only irritation that I have with it. With everything becoming cross-platform. Yeah. It looks like Fortnite Borderlands. Yes, it does kind of remind me a bit of both. The only difference is that, like, I don't think this isn't a battle royale. It's a 4-player PvE. So I think that's just the only thing. But yeah, it definitely does have a style similar to Fortnite. Definitely seems to have some mechanics similar to Borderlands as well. So it looks cool. Just a little disappointing that cross-platform isn't available yet. So, I see what you mean. Yeah. Original Fortnite before Epic decided to make it a battle royale after looking at PUBG's code, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, let's just continue on with this. Okay, but I mean, it looks fun. I wouldn't mind checking it out. But then again, it looks like it would be best played with 4 people. So unless you've got like a full team of players, maybe not. I don't know. Like these games always look like they're best played with multiple people, and always organizing 4 people
begins
is
early
always a
access
little crazy.
today for PlayStation 5. Tribes of Midgard arrives later this month. Let's get a sneak peek at the post-launch plans for this addictive action RPG from Norsefell Games.
Hi, I'm Sydney from Norsefell, and I'm here to tell you more about how Tribes of Midgard will grow even bigger after launch with free season updates.
Okay, So I haven't seen this game before at all. I think it's Valheim? Is it essentially Valheim?
Tribes of Midgard is a 10-player survival action RPG.
10-player?
Where you play as an
Ooh, okay.
Einherjar, a legendary Viking warrior revived by Odin himself to stop Ragnarok. There are 2 primary game modes, the session-based Saga mode and the endless survival mode that are all about exploring Midgard, powering up your character, and fortifying your home village to
Yeah, kind of reminiscent of Valheim. Interesting.
stand against giants bent on destroying the seat of Yggdrasil. New seasonal updates will change the way you play and add challenges for you and your tribe to overcome. The game launches with Season 1, The Wolf Saga. It includes new classes, exclusive loot, and a...
Hold on. The what? Am I the only one?
and challenges for you
I hear
and your
that.
tribe to overcome.
She said the Wolf
The game launches
Saga?
with Season 1, The Wolf Saga. It includes new classes, exclusive loot, and a powerful new boss. There will be 8 different classes to unlock and choose from.
I thought you would call that Saga, but okay.
Let's take a
That's
quick
all.
look at the Ranger,
Sorry.
one of our 2 starting classes. As you gain levels, you unlock game-changing abilities in your class skill tree to match your playstyle, like the lightning fast quick shot or the powerful slowpoke. Because classes are complementary, it's fun to have a bit of everything in your tribe. We're excited to see how your strategies will change as classes expand in future updates. Season 1 also introduces runes, which give you new special powers to customize your character even more. The Wolf
Interesting.
Saga will launch with 30 runes, including the Might of Mjolnir, which adds powerful chain lightning arcs to your attacks.
Mjolnir.
You can
Thor's
use multiple
hammer.
runes together, and the effects can get pretty wild. You'll end up with different rune combinations each session, so you'll always have new ways to experiment.
That's actually pretty cool.
Last but not least,
Okay, I do have to say, even though I said it looks kind of like Valheim, it actually is. It kind of reminds me of Diablo 3 a little bit. Just looking at some of the like the quick cuts where they're showing the gameplay, it does kind of remind me of Diablo 3 in like, you know, you can get a group of people together and you can just run dungeons and rifts and constantly be just attacking NPCs and leveling up and all that stuff. So I know. I wasn't gonna say it, but yes, 100% correct. How can she say Mjolnir but not Saga correctly? That is correct, Puck.
the biggest part of every season are Saga quests, a series of quests that will bring you across Midgard. In Season 1 Saga, you'll unlock the ability to access...
Maybe it's a Canadian accent? I know those Canadians say some English words a little weird. Like they're a boot. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I wasn't ready to hear it.
It's a mysterious lair, and face down your most powerful challenge yet. And the more dangerous foes you take on,
and that's
the
kind of
greater
cool.
reward.
The giants.
Speaking of great rewards, the Wolf Saga is stacked with season-exclusive
That's pretty
weapons,
cool.
armor sets, and truly mighty companions. I love this guy. This saga is only the beginning. Tribes of Midgard will keep expanding with more seasons that explore different parts of Norse mythology and add even more to the game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Midgard soon on July 27th.
See, that's pretty cool. I like that. Stylistically, it looks actually really cool. I like the art style. It's a very cel-shaded look, which I don't know what it is. I always love saying that. Canadians love to mispronounce A's, eh? Yeah, I think you're right. Seems Canadian. It just seems right. Just seems right. But yeah, I like the art style. The gameplay looks fun. It looks like a weird cross between Valheim and Diablo 3. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm misreading the footage. But it certainly looks and feels, particularly when they show, like, there's the combat and you've got multiple people and I saw, like, there were a couple clips coming up where you see multiple people and you're running around, you're hitting dungeons, and like it just, like right here, you're getting stuff from chests, you're going through, you're killing things, you're leveling up, you're getting armor pieces, you're trying to get sets together. it just kind of reminds me of like an interesting combination between Valheim and Diablo, and I think that's actually kind of cool. I like it. I like the Diablo experience, but here's my problem with it. I got to a point where I'm like, what's the point of me really even leveling up anymore? Like, it's just to go on and do another raid. This at least gives you a reason to like, oh, well, you got to now actually set up a defense of your own little base, or village, or whatever it is that they call it. And I think that's actually pretty cool. I like it. So I'm actually kind of excited for it. Yeah, that's definitely a cool looking game. Right there. That's what I was talking about. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I am curious as to what platforms it's going to be on. Again, this is my biggest irritation with some of these console-specific events. They don't actually say what platforms. They only want you to know that it's only going to be on PlayStation, right? Or only going to be on Xbox. They don't want you to know that, oh, it's actually also available on PC. Tribes of Midgard. There we go. What's it going to be released on? Wait, Gearbox is publishing this? And it's on Steam. Okay, so it's on Steam for sure. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, you're right, Puck. Don't worry, they'll let you know if it's an exclusive. That is true. Excuse me. That is very, very true. They do like to make sure that you know. I hate the freaking. Is it just me, or has the cookie notifications been getting worse lately? It certainly feels like they've been getting worse. I don't know what it is. It's bothering me. It's on Steam. What is this on? Yep. Okay, Sony. It's gonna be again. It's another console exclusive, but it is available on Steam as well if you don't want to buy it on the consoles. So, I think that's pretty cool. I think that is in fact very cool, and this would definitely be one I would be very interested in playing. Awesome. I think consent is becoming important. Yeah, it's very true.
Port City's as good as lost. Must you go back?
What is this?
I must go back in order to end all this.
Okay, we got a badass bunny with a robo arm. In fact, it kind of looks like a. It kind of looks almost like a backpack, right? It's not quite like his arm. Like he's got both arms, but it's like he's got like a robotic arm on his back. Interesting. Fist, forged in Shadow Torch.
Up next, what do you get when you mix...
That actually looks pretty cool. Man, I tell you, Sony, like, they do a really good job of making very intriguing looking games. Or pushing, at least, very intriguing looking games. Yeah, I'm not sure, because, I mean, you look at the start of it, right? It looks actually very... Also, I want to get the music going. When the initial show is, it looks almost like a platforming brawler. Music, really? Are you not going to start? Hello? Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, it looks like a platformer, like brawler. But then they do have some weird little bullet hell segment. I lost it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's got some bullet hell to it as well. Very interesting. It looks like that's probably gonna be like not the main focus of the game, but yeah, brawler slash boss battler for sure. Exactly. Yeah, all 2D in a 3D environment, but definitely all like done in 2D. So that's pretty cool. And this looks like it's gonna be exclusively PS4, PS5. Okay. And oh, and they even give us a release date, September 7th, 2021. Okay. Does make me a little sad because I don't have a PlayStation 5 or 4. I didn't buy into any of the PlayStations this time around. And I wanted to get, sorry, incorrect. I wanted to get a PlayStation 5 and then everything sold out. Anywho. But I think that's pretty cool. I think that looks like a really interesting little brawler, and I definitely want to see more of it. So far, I have not been disappointed by any of the games. Let's just stop this, and we'll start this back up again. It considers itself a Metroidvania. Yeah, that does make sense.
Next,
That actually does make a lot of
mixed
sense.
Fighting games and battle
Oh,
royale.
also on Windows as well. Thank you, Puck.
Ancient legends are told.
Okay.
Of the battle between demons and hunters.
This looks a lot like, oh, what was that game? What was that game? There was like a beta test for it. From like a Chinese studio. It looks very similar to that. Stylistic wise. Yeah, it does kind of look like a Dynasty Warriors game, doesn't it? Mantisco.
Hi everyone, I'm John Georgie from Mantisco. And on behalf of our studio, I am thrilled to welcome you to the world of Hunter's Arena.
Okay.
In this mystical world, you will play as hunters who must fight deadly demons as well as other online players in order to survive. As a skillful hunter, you will master powerful swordplay and martial arts, and will be constantly tested of your skills of precise timing and fast decision making. However, don't forget to have a little fun on your journey by customizing your weapons from disco balls to rubber ducks. As you explore our expansive maps, you will be able to explore dungeons and slay ancient demons to level up. We
Interesting.
look forward to seeing your personalized strategies on your hunt. Another huge threat to look out for is none other than one of your own, a hunter. Always have different strategies in mind and use the environment around you when facing your enemies. Utilize bushes for
Is this
ambush
a
or drop
battle
strike
royale?
from higher grounds to unleash a lethal blow on unexpected enemy players. Hunter's Arena features 2 battle royale modes.
It is. It's a battle
Solo
royale.
and Trio. In solo mode, you will solely take on other enemy players as well as
Yeah, and
deadly
this
demons
really
lurking
looks
behind
like
your back
that game.
in a 30-player free-for-all. In trio mode, you'll be able to team up with your friends, where focusing on teamwork and planning out strategies are crucial in achieving victory. There is so much more to experience in this fascinating world. I can't wait for you to encounter the countless dangers waiting in Hunter's Arena when it launches next month on PS4 and PS5. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all soon on Hunter's Arena.
Works really hard together. Hunter's Arena. Yeah, no, it's a BR. That's and this is what I say. It reminds me a lot of that other game that we played. Was it last year? Maybe it was last fall. I'm trying to. Where's my Steam? I probably should just bring it up. There we go. Bring up my library. I just want to see what that game is called. It was like Naraka, and it was a BR, and it it's very much the same concept. And they had like a beta test last year, and then they had another one like a couple months ago. I'm just trying to see, like, really, it's not even in my list anymore. That's dumb. Yeah, Naraka Blade Point. Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Taepuck. Okay. It reminds me a lot of that. No idea if it's by the same makers or not. I doubt it. But yeah, I remember that being actually quite a bit fun. And this looks like it's essentially the same, like the same concept, right? It looks like the same model, except they have now PvE stuff that you have to worry about as well, which is the demons, right? The demons, I think, are AI creatures, AI bosses that you have to fight. And then you also have to be not only fighting the demons, but now you have to be fighting other demon hunters as well. Pretty interesting. Whether or not it's good, I don't know. But I had a lot of fun with that Naraka Blade Point. And it looks like this could have a lot of that same appeal, a lot of that same style of gameplay, which is, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's an interesting take on the Battle Royale genre, if you will. So that is actually, that's pretty cool. Now this one only says right at the end PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. And I know they didn't say exclusive, but if they're only showing PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, maybe, you know, let's just verify this. Hunter's Arena. Oh, it's on Steam as well. Okay. Okay. Is there a... Let's take a look at it on Steam then. Yeah, and Windows. Yep. So it's in early access right now on Steam. Originally released in early access back in July 15th, 2020. So it looks like they're basically ramping up to essentially bring it out as a, you know, fully released game. It's actually on sale right now up until July 22nd for half price off. So instead of $19.99 US, it's $9.99 US. So that's actually a decent deal. That's interesting. And they have crossplay available as well, which is great. I always applaud a studio that's going to allow for crossplay. So thank you. Thank you. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's keep on chugging, shall we? Should probably unmute.
Arena Legends arrives on PS4 and PS5 next month. PlayStation Plus members will be able to download the PS4 and PS5 versions at no extra cost starting August 3rd.
They're doing that too. Okay, interesting. That's actually interesting because that's a good way to get a decent player base to begin with. You know, give out the game for free for like a month or two, for a month essentially, and allow them to be able to experience the game, get other people hooked on it, and then it's Rocket League took the strategy when it released back in 2015, 2016, and I think it did them a lot of good to get that initial player base going, because I know that there are a bunch of people who came into the game after that release. So I think that's actually a smart move by them to do that. Yes, this is Sifu, isn't it? Hold on. Did they say it was Sifu at the beginning?
Arena Legends arrives on PS4 and PS5 next month. PlayStation Plus members will be able to download the PS4 and PS5
Next. Slow. Yeah, it is Sifu. See, These are by the same guys who did Absolver, and I loved the combat in that. So this looks like more of that. Oh, this is awesome. That's cool. You're gonna have some platforming there. Some free running, whatever you call it. Like, I just look at that style and I just see Absolver, and I get excited because I really like that game. Yeah, I love the combat that this studio knows how to do, like hand-to-hand martial combat. It's awesome. I love that. Early 2022. No mention of exclusives, so I'm just going to assume it's on Steam as well.
Everyone.
But that is, oh gosh, I'm actually very excited by this game. If it's not by the same people, I will be very surprised, but I'm pretty sure it is. Let's take a look at this. Oh, please don't tell me it's only on Epic Games Store. So, yeah, like, they moved it up. It was going to be releasing this year. They're going to release it next year instead. Much like Absolver, but it's narrative-driven, and every time a player dies, they return to the fight as an older version of themselves. Ooh. Yes, it is. It is the same studio. I love that. I loved... If you guys haven't checked out Absolver, please do, because the combat system in that game is phenomenal. I loved it. And my biggest disappointment is that the game, story-wise and exploration-wise, it's not really very deep. Like, there's essentially like a little mini campaign. It takes a couple hours to get through. Like, I want to say it took me like 4 or 5 hours to get through, and then after that, it's just basically more exploring. You know, learning some new moves and doing what feels like raids or rifts from like Diablo, or, you know, raids from any of the other MMOs where you can join up with other people and you can go through these little dungeons. The gameplay in that game was phenomenal. I loved the combat in that game, and I've been waiting for them to release something. So when they showed this off at E3 back in, like, what, 2019? Was it 2019 or 2020 when they first initially showed the combat? But I mean, I was super excited for it. Oh, this makes me actually want to play Absolver again. It just feels good. I can't describe it. It just feels good, and they do a really good job with it. PS5 and Epic Games Store this year, delayed to 2020. Which means it'll probably come to Steam, but it'll come to Steam later on. Epic got the, somehow got it right to get the exclusive PC release. Which, I'm not really a fan of Epic in terms of their store. So, I'll just leave it at that. I won't get into too much of that. I just want to see if it's even listed on here. It is not, so it's not even on Steam currently. That makes me a little sad. But I am excited to play it, and I'm sure they will eventually release it on Steam, so I got something to look forward to when they finally do. Or I could just get a PS5 and do that. So I'm just excited. I'm excited. I don't know what else to say. I'm ready for this game to come out. I'm very excited for it. Okay, back to it. Yeah, a little sad that they had to push it back, but I mean, it is what it is.
Alien planet? then this next game is for you.
This is Jet, the Far Shore, created by Super Brothers and Pine Scented, with a score by Scientific. In Jet, you play as May, one of a unit of aviator scientists who embark on an interstellar trip and alight on a mythic ocean planet, where they
that's
dream of
not
securing
terrifying at all.
a future for their species. We aspired to create a video game to express our own feelings of awe when we look up at the starry sky. Jet is all about motion, whether it's weaving through trees or jumping over obstacles.
That's pretty cool.
I love that sense of speeding through a remarkable natural space under a grand sky, and suddenly being in someone's helmet, boots on the ground. Jet's premise involves exploration and discovery. However, our design doesn't rely on combat or resource extraction, and the characters go to some lengths to tread lightly, giving indigenous wildlife a wide berth, striving to adapt and avoid conflict. As a Jet...
So there is conflict, or there isn't? Because he said, like, it doesn't... Our gameplay doesn't rely on conflict, and yet there's the ability to avoid conflict. So is there conflict?
Scout, you'll inspect living things and employ your Jet's tools to figure out what makes them tick. Occasionally, you'll run into trouble, and you'll have to
here's
use
conflict.
everything at your disposal to emerge unscathed. Over the years, we've contemplated what might be on the minds of interstellar explorers, what might propel them, and what might haunt them. And so our story provides an occasional glimpse into May's dreams, memories, and visions. At heart, Jet is a laid-back and enjoyable exploratory action adventure set within an intriguing new science fiction cosmos. Jet has had a long road. For a few years, there were only 3 of us. Since then, this vision has been sharpened and bolstered by an all-star squad. We hope you'll embark with us.
It's actually pretty cool. I really like that art style. It's a very interesting art style. It's unique. It's not something I've seen very often. It does come off as very much an indie art style, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right? Because it's not very well refined, but I mean it looks good. I think it looks really good.
And
no. Oh gosh, no. What did I do?
Let's see if we can work.
Go back.
Suddenly being in someone's...
Thank you. Please. Gosh. Sorry. Doing this live here, people. Yeah. The art style is memorable. It looks really interesting. And I don't know what it is. I actually like exploration games. They're very nice. They're very chill. This looks like it's going to be somewhat narrative-driven as well, which I do like a good story. If the story's good, I think this is going to be good. This does look like it could be one of those games, though, where it's more of a niche game, so it's not going to be... It's probably not going to be for everybody. Not everyone's going to like this game. But I think it's actually going to be a very interesting experience, and I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure. In fact, it looks almost... I get very much like a Journey feel from this game. Like it's just reminiscent of that style of gameplay. It's, you know. And this part where they're saying like you'll kind of explore the dreams, that's something very different altogether. But like overall, like this feels similar to Journey. I don't think it's by the same people, but they've captured that feel very well. From what I can tell, maybe the trailer is completely misleading. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But I think it looks really interesting. Yeah, so far there's not been a game so far that I've been like, I don't really care about it. You know what I mean? Everything looks actually really interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. Every single one of these, they all look really good. Okay, let's continue on, shall we?
Let's check in with our friends at Sega for more on 2 upcoming adventures.
Demon Slayer. So it's an anime game. Okay. Yep.
A mansion. Is this the place?
Have not seen the anime, so I have no relation to this. I'm not really a fan of the anime games. Like, for whatever reason, I feel like the anime games never seem to really capture the spirit. Like, they're either crappy fighting games or they're like, there's so far the anime games that I've played, there's only been 2 that have been really, really enjoyable in my opinion. That's been Naruto, and I know it's really probably gonna get called a weeb here for saying this, but Naruto, or not a weeb, oh no, Taku or something like that. Because I just picked out the most normie, or the most well-known one here. But I mean, the game, and this is from Ubisoft. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right game here. Rise of a Ninja, Naruto Rise of a Ninja. Like, that's been the only one, and sorry, Naruto the Broken Bond. Those 2 games have been the only 2 that have been like really good anime games that I really liked. That weren't just simple fighting games. Like, it followed the story fairly closely, added a bunch of side quests, had a lot of fun mechanics that actually felt true to the anime. I can't think of a lot of games that have done that really well. They all seem to be just crappy fighting games. So I'm already a little wary of this when I see this, because so far I've not had the best experience with these games. They always seem to be a little disappointing. Let me just delete some of these tabs here. Close multiple tabs. The right. Thank you.
I'm scared.
It's okay. I'm with you. I'll keep you safe. The demon's scent is growing stronger.
The door! It just closed on its own! You saw it, right? I don't care who! Just come and fight me! Whoever shows up will be my next prey!
I'm a demon slayer! Rank Mizunoto! Tanjiro Kamado!
Here I come!
And he's wielding Nichirin swords! Is he with the Demon Slayer Corps? Zenitsu?
He's not just pretending. He's really out cold.
Thunder breathing. First form. Thunderclap and flash.
It's gonna feel so good to rip such a huge target to shreds!
How could this human wound me?
Let's go. I'm not giving up. Not ever. Keep moving forward. Stay sharp. Give it everything you've got. You can do it!
I'll get my hands on that rare blood and reclaim my rightful place among the 12 Kizuki.
Yes, I've got him now.
Okay, is this a story game? Like, or is this a fighting game? Hold on. Okay, so like you see this footage up here. That looks like it's a story game. Action adventure story game, not just a crappy fighting game. That's kind of cool. You don't see that very often. Normally they're just crappy fighting games with the anime games. And again, I have no relation, like I haven't seen the anime at all, so I have no idea how true that looks or feels to the original. And again, they didn't show it. They only showed what essentially is like this 3 different boss fight scene, right? where basically it looks like the three main or side characters. I don't know who. I know this kid in the yellow or nothing, the green kimono here looks like he is the main protagonist. That much I know from the art from the manga / anime boxes. But I mean, other than that, I don't know who any of these people are, what their relation is to the actual story, who's the main protagonist, who are side characters. I'm guessing these are important characters, okay? So you'll have to forgive my ignorance on this. I have not seen Demon Slayer. So I don't know. I don't know how close this is to the anime. I don't know if this looks right or wrong. If I'm just judging based on this sort of like beginning section, this looks like it's just a boss fighting game. But then they throw in, sorry, went a little too far. Then they throw in that scene, right? Where it looks like it isn't just like boss fights or just a fighting game between. It looks like you've got an open world to explore. You follow what looks like, I can only assume, is the events of the game. Or, sorry, the events of the anime. And you get to see scenes from the show, as well as potentially, obviously, side quests and whatnot. That usually happens with game development, right? Yeah, I'm not sure what to think. I may have to rely on you guys. Let me know in the chat or in the comments when you guys watch this if you guys think this is going to be good. If you guys think this is going to be a really good anime game, let me know, because I don't know what to think of these. Because I know anime games generally are hit or miss, and unfortunately, from my experience, a lot of them have been more misses than anything else. So, yeah. But it looks interesting, and it looks like it's not doing the typical anime thing of just let's make a fighting game. So, I'll be interested to see how this actually looks when it comes out. Who's the... Sega. Sega's the developer, so it's probably going to be on multiple... It's probably going to be everywhere, not just PlayStation, but also on Xbox and Steam. So, not entirely sure on that yet, so don't judge me too harshly on that. I'm not sure. So. Anyway, let's take a look and see what is up next after this.
Your Honor, in a warehouse, about 3 days ago, a body turned up in Yokohama. Oh, maybe you hadn't heard that.
A gruesome tragedy unfolds.
You mean it's revenge? In that case, could he possibly have hired someone else to kill the guy in his stead?
As for my request, I'd like to see what you can find out. Mikoshiba's murder is too suspicious.
Suspicious? Hey.
Get him, Yagami bot! Take a nap!
Okay, hold on.
Go!
Is this a Yakuza game? This looks kind of like a Yakuza game.
I believe in you, buddy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Watch this.
Believe me, I'm just as clueless as you are, much as I hate to admit it.
They said to tell you, this is your final warning.
They've been spying on me?
I guess we couldn't ask for a better piece of bait.
What the hell do you think you're doing? This has nothing to do with her. Stop! Kawana!
Yeah, this looks like a Yakuza game. Behind every truth is either ruin or salvation. Lost Judgment, so... Interesting. That actually looks pretty cool. And is that what I think it is? Ryu ga Gotoku Studio. Is that the same studio that does? Because that would make actually a lot of sense. Because then it explains why it looks so similar to the Yakuza games. Yep. Pretty sure these are the guys that made the Yakuza games. Oh gosh. They're not a... There we go. English version. Thank you. Ah, okay. Okay. So they did Yakuza 5 and then they did the remakes with Yakuza Kimiwa and Kimiwa 2. Sorry, not Kimiwa. Kiwami. Yakuza Kiwami, Kiwami 2. Yakuza 3 remastered, 4 remastered, 5 remastered. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's actually pretty cool. It looks good. I got Yakuza Kiwami on Steam, and I've really enjoyed my time playing it. Again, haven't beaten it because I'm horrible with that, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and this looks along the same lines as that, as those Yakuza games. So I'm actually, man, yet another game I'm excited for. I mean, these are actually some really good games. Now this obviously is going to be a different style, because now you're not playing as Yakuza. Instead, you're actually playing as a what looks like a detective who's investigating some murder case that this guy has potentially been framed for. And then obviously, because it's a Yakuza style game, it's going to have a whole bunch of other like weird little mini games available that you can play. And I wouldn't even say weird. It's just kind of interesting that they put so many different types of gameplay in there, which is just very, very cool that they actually do that. The investigation, you got some stealth mechanics, parkour, random robots that you can fight, dancing simulations, races, yeah, some skateboarding. Yeah. These are some great studios that make these games. I know that, I don't think that they made the original one, but I mean, I know they've been making them since 5 and they did all the remasters and whatnot, so. Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good. And again, it's going to be interesting to see it from this kind of perspective where you're actually playing as like, I'm not even sure if you're a detective with the Japanese police or if you're just a private investigator. Yeah, I don't know, but it looks good, and I'm excited for it. Yet another game that I'm excited for, and I think it's going to be good. In fact, what's interesting, this guy who comes in, hold on, wait for it. No idea, but this guy actually looks very similar to the main character from like the majority of the Yakuza games, so they might actually be in the same universe as the Yakuza games. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just throwing darts here, but you know, just taking wild guesses. I could be 1000% wrong, but I think this is gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, let's just get back into it. So what is next? Yeah, Lost Judgment. September 24th, 21, so it's actually coming out soon.
Time for a closer look at the expanded and enhanced Death Stranding Director's Cut, coming soon to PS5.
A director's cut of Death Stranding? Why? Okay.
Once there was an explosion. A bang which gave rise to life as we know it. Then came the next explosion. An explosion that will be our last.
So more of the same. Just a remaster.
Sam, I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs.
but at least we'll have hope.
New battles.
I don't care about connecting anything.
Okay.
You see, I've come to understand the truth of the Death Stranding.
Advanced combat mechanics. Upgraded melee. Okay. Master guns. I don't know what that's supposed to... When they say... Hold on. Let's pause that. Master guns. What does that mean? Does it mean that you will master weapon mechanics? Is there going to be like a leveling system? Or does that just mean that you get these special master weapons, which means that they're like upgraded versions of the original guns? What does that mean? A firing range. Okay. Another scene from the main story. Additional delivery something. Cargo catapult. Okay. So does this... Hold on. So does that mean that it's going to be less of a walking simulator now? Is that the big threat? Come play Death Stranding. It's not as much of a walking simulator because you have a cargo catapult. Support skeleton. So now you can carry even more stuff in your walking simulator. Buddy bot. If you're done playing Walking Simulator, we'll get an AI to play Walking Simulator for you, and you can just sit on it. Jumps. Fragile circuit. Okay. So now there's racing, because, you know, Walking Simulator. And that part kind of sucks. New story missions. Okay, that's kind of cool.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach.
Any release date? Yes, a release date, September 24th. Okay. So, I don't know how any of you guys feel about Death Stranding. I'm not a fan. Okay. It's not that I'm not a fan. I think it's highly overrated. It looks like an interesting game with an interesting story, with a core gameplay mechanic that's boring as hell. It's a walking simulator for a large chunks of the game. It's a walking simulator. Nothing wrong with that. Just not my cup of tea. Combine that with the very weird Kojima story that Kojima always likes to do, which, to be fair, it's an intriguing story. But man, I'm just man. True, I've never tried it. I have never tried it. That's true. I have watched streams of it. I have watched the entirety of the game on stream because, again, I saw it and I thought to myself, this does not look like it's for me. You know what I mean? Like it looks like mainly a walking simulator, and that's exactly what it was. And the story was interesting, and I got to experience the story through somebody's stream, and I really enjoyed watching them play it. I think it's an overrated game. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying I think it's overrated. Now, with them doing a remaster, a director's cut, if you will, it's kind of interesting. I mean, they're adding some mechanics here that I think are... Some seem superfluous and weird and makes no sense. The new battle seems interesting, right? This could add some interesting flair to the game that wasn't there before. But like the firing range, right? So like Great, you gotta mount a gun now. Okay, who cares? Firing range, who cares? There was one specifically that... Back 5. Wow, watching Death Stranding sounds like it at times can be cool, but at yeah, no, it is. That's exactly where I get that from. Yeah, I think I'm done with Death Stranding. I can't see myself going back to it. Yeah, no, neither can I. I mean, if you've played it already, or if you've experienced the story already, I don't see the appeal. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe this remastered director's cut is huge for people who love the game. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I feel like it's not. Now, the one thing that they did say is that they did add new story missions. So, I mean, maybe there's a new side story, or maybe a new story after the events of the main game they've added to it. That would be kind of interesting to check out. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, and some of the new mechanics just seem like blah. Like, as I said, like the firing range, I don't care about. New weapon master guns. In fact, as I said, like, what the hell does that even mean? Master guns. Let's see if we can't get that clip. Hold on, where's that clip? Where it just says master guns. What does that mean? Do you get new guns? Let's see if we can't find it. Remaster for the PS5. Who cares? New battles. As I said, this looks interesting. But wait for it. Advanced combat mechanics. Upgraded melee. Okay. So now you can do the typical anime flying through the air two leg kick thing. Master gun. Sorry, mazer gun. Okay, okay. I misread it. I thought it said master gun, and so I thought it was mastering guns. Okay, I misread it. That's on me. Sorry, guys. But I mean, it's a new weapon. Okay. And from the looks of it, it's a giant taser. Who cares? Firing range. Again, would have been nice if it was in the main game, but I mean, adding it to a director's cut. Okay. Let's keep going through this. Again, more scenes from the original thing. Additional delivery options, like the cargo catapult, because, you know, the game was originally a walking simulator. But now you can catapult that shit, so you don't have to carry it. A new support skeleton, because, you know, a human being carrying like 1,000 pounds on their back isn't really viable. A buddy bot, because, you know, when you get tired of the walking simulator part, you can let an AI take over for the walking simulator part. A jump ramp. That's probably the coolest of the new useless features, right? And then a racetrack so that you can race yourself. Right? Because, I mean, that was a ghost, right? That was clearly a ghost, you know, like you're doing time trials and you're basically racing against your own ghost of you doing the previous map. The previous lap, sorry. Yeah. Anime racing. Everyone's excited for anime racing in Death Stranding. New story, like, this seems like the best part of it, right? The new story missions, which they don't go into detail at all. And, yeah. Like, I feel like that's the biggest draw, is that you've got new story missions. Everything else just seems superfluous and unnecessary. I'm not excited for this. Everything else in the state of play that I've seen, I'm excited for. All the games that I've seen up until now look amazing. Sifu looks good. Tribes of Midgar looks good. Moss Book 2 looks good. Even Arcadegeddon looks fun and interesting. What was that? Jet looks fun. Sifu. I'm super excited for Sifu. This is the first game where I'm just like, I don't care. I couldn't care less about this. Really. So, yeah. On to the next one, shall we? turn off the music and get back in here. Available September 24th, and then here's Deathloop.
14th. Let's check out an extended gameplay demo of Bethesda and Arcane's Violent Vision.
And Arcane's games are really good, so this will be good.
It's fun. I've been cutting short your meaningless rampages for some time. It's totally normal. Death is a typical physiological experience in this place.
I hate to break it to you, but there is nothing normal about this fucking island.
You're gonna give me that attitude?
Same day, which means I already know what's going to happen. Am
Yes,
I
sir.
supposed to do this every day for the rest of my life? Fuck that.
Nope, haven't gotten to Deathloop yet. This is it. This is Deathloop right here.
I'm game director at Arcane Lyon, and I'm here to give you a special look at Deathloop. You are cold. You're stuck.
Wait, Arcane Lyon? So is that... Hold on, does Arcane have another studio? Oh, that's cool. Hold on, I gotta... Arcane... Because I love Arcane's games. You know... Why can't I think of the name? I can see it. I can see it in my mind, the the game. And yet, for whatever reason, my brain is just like, nope. Nope, you can't. Can't think of it. Started in France. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Why can't I think of the game? What did they do before this? You ever just... Dishonored. Thank you. Gosh, I knew it started with a D. It's just like my brain just didn't want to operate. The Dishonored games are actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great stealth platformer game. They've done a really good job with those games. Very interested to see how Deathloop is going to run, but it seems like it's headquartered in Austin, Minnesota, founded in France. Fascinating. So do they have actually another... And sorry, this is just a tangent, but I'm just curious if they have another studio. Yeah, they have studios open a second studio, Arcane Studios Austin in Texas in 2006. The studio mostly known for creating the Dishonored series. Ah, okay. So Lyon's actually their main branch. That's actually interesting that they're calling themselves Arcane Lyon. When I was under the impression that, very interesting. Maybe they swapped. Maybe Lyon Prey. That's right. They did Prey as well. I didn't get into Prey because Prey was a lot more horror-ish. And I'm not a fan of the horror games, but like I appreciate sci-fi and weird stuff like this.
Black Reef where everybody wants you dead. To escape, you'll have to take out 8 targets known as the Visionaries before the day repeats. Also, one of your targets, Juliana, is in the business of hunting you down. Fail to kill the target or die, and the day starts over.
You gotta be kidding me.
AKA the
Every
Deathloop.
loop is an opportunity. With every cycle, you will learn more about the Visionaries and the secrets of the island by exploring and observing. You will discover their habits and secrets, using that knowledge to progress through the story.
That's
Let's
pretty cool.
jump into a mission several hours into the game to see Colt take on the Visionary Alexis the Wolf Dorsey. At this point, you have already learned from a previous loop that Alexis plans to give a speech at his well-guarded masquerade party. Let's use that intel to identify Alexis and take him down.
I was just thinking.
I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, you don't want that.
The Deathloop.
You're looking for
Yes.
I'm looking for the fastest way out of this place.
There are rules, Colt, and sometimes people bend the rules, and sometimes they break them.
Blah, 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 blah.
Were you talking when I was talking? I have top secret information.
Okay, what is it?
I said it was top secret.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that.
I've thought about it, and I think I'm doing everyone here a favor by ending this.
So what happens when you break the loop? Seriously, I want your theories.
Everything goes back to normal, obviously.
Normal. You have absolutely no fucking idea what will happen.
True, but I know one way to find out.
Nice throw. Lands right on that guy's crotch. Oh, that's amazing.
Dying isn't the end. Reprise is one of the powers you can unlock. It allows you to die and rewind twice before the loop restarts. You have also seen Chronicles that allows you to yank enemies around and shift the short-range teleport.
Hey, we killed you!
Colt, do you need my help?
Nah, I'm fine.
To keep getting yourself killed. Can you stay still?
That's interesting that she says, "Do you need my help?" Isn't she like one of the antagonists that you actually have to take down? Interesting. Totally dig this. Yeah, no, the 60s style is cool. Yeah, no, I like the 60s style. It's very interesting.
Here's where Colt died. You can absorb your body to regain Residium, a resource that allows you to save your favorite weapons and abilities between loops. Over time, you will build an arsenal of weapons, abilities and upgrades that you can mix and match between missions to suit your playstyle or the needs of a specific task.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. So it looks like there's some hacking abilities there. Ooh,
We use
that's
the
visceral.
haptic feedback and the adaptive trigger of the PS5's DualSense controller to bring an extra layer of immersion to your experience. Every movement feels different, and weapons express their personality in the palm of your hands.
Very impressive. I'm clapping with one hand.
Don't stop there. Put them both together. The body count is gonna get high.
Even an invitation to Alexis's party. I found another way in. Through the window?
No,
on the cliff?
No, I'm not climbing on any cliff or window. Just shut up! Keep your eyes
There's always multiple ways to approach a target, and we just learned of one, a back entrance to the mansion. Conversations like this happen all over Black Reef, and it often pays to stop and listen.
And I remember that a lot in Dishonored, where they would have a lot of different ways for you to approach a mission or to approach a quest. So I like that they're continuing on with that design philosophy of doing that. Ooh, that's rough. From the back 5, yeah, the chick is trying to kill you. Not sure if there's another lady that he's speaking to, or what's happening. Maybe she was mocking. It might be, right, maybe she was in fact mocking him. That could be it. I love how they don't actually notice the grenade as you throw it. Make for some funny situations or funny clips as you're playing.
That alert means your rival, Juliana, has invaded your game. Controlled by another player or the AI, she's the real deal.
What? Did they say another player? So, oh, that's interesting.
You'll have to be extra vigilant
So,
on the hunt.
Another player can actually invade your game and try and kill you as you're trying to complete your mission. That's actually interesting.
Wow. I didn't know you liked to party.
Ain't my style.
You're all business all the time, aren't you? What is your style exactly?
A la Dark Souls? It's kind of a la Dark Souls, right? Because, that's actually interesting. Because, yeah, because I think of Dark Souls, yeah, they could invade and then they could try and fight you, or they could invade and they could try and help you. And I'm sure it could be the same way. I assume when the AI is controlling it, that the AI will always be trying to kill your main character, right? And start the loop over again.
Chit-chatting when I should be killing motherfuckers, apparently.
I'll smoke anywhere, man. I'll smoke at the doctor's office. I'll smoke at a funeral. I'll smoke when people are eating their breakfast right next to me. Fuck your fried eggs. You know what I'm saying?
The wolves play a sick game. Whoever fails to impress the others with their evil deeds goes into the grinder and onto the dinner menu.
Oh my.
Let's see if we can rig the outcome.
Ooh. That melee is, that's savage, for sure.
It could be Alexis, but it could also be another masked speaker. So let's hear him out and not take the shot.
There were deaths, lawsuits, whatever. Profits far outstretched our small legal fees. We made millions that year. Cheap bastards who died, they could have afforded it if it was important enough.
Arrogant, cruel, no regard for others? Yeah, that's definitely Alexis. Allez up! Alexis just dropped an upgrade to the Carnes's power and a hefty dose of Residium. Time to get the hell out of here.
What are you doing up there?
Oh my. I wonder how many times it took them to actually get this recorded. You know, to actually run this.
Why wasn't I invited?
You gonna call me like this all the time, Julie?
Juliana.
I give approximately 0 fucks about what you call yourself.
But you did. Once.
And there's the loop again. Yep. Oh wow, that's actually closer than I thought it was going to be. September 14th? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I really do like the where's my music? There we go. Yeah, I like Arcane Studios. They do a really good job with the games that they make, and this looks good. This looks really good. It looks like you can see a lot of elements from the Dishonored series, but you see some cool new features that they're bringing in, and I think it looks good. I'm glad to see another game I'm excited for again. So, yeah, for the most part, I think everything looks really good. The only one that I was just like, I don't care about was the Death Stranding remaster, but yeah, everything looks really good. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be great, and yeah. Was there any? There's only like a minute or two left.
For today, but we'll be back with more breaking news and updates before you know it. See you soon.
Okay. So that is it. That is it for the Sony State of Play. Yeah, I think they actually had a lot of really good stuff to see here. I think almost every game looked really good, from Moss to... Excuse me, from Moss Book 2 to Jet to Sifu to Tribes of Midgar.
Hi.
There we go. Just wanted to get something up here. I think they actually did a really good job with this, and there's a lot of really cool things to see here. And a lot of it too, which is pretty exciting, is a lot of it too is actually coming out, is either already out as sort of like a early access beta type of thing, or it will be arriving by the end of the year at the latest. There are a few things that were pushed off, like Sifu, but I think everything else is going to be showing up within the year. A lot of stuff in September. So, and a lot of it looks really good, like Lost Tragedy, I think is what it was called. The game from the Yakuza developers looks super good. I'm actually really excited for that one. That one, Sifu, Tribes of Midgard, pretty much everything except for that Death Stranding director's cut is yeah. I'm excited for all of it. As I said, Death Stranding I think was the only real letdown, because it just seemed so unnecessary. And most of the new features are like, yeah, look, here's a cannon. Here's a cargo cannon, so you don't have to carry it. Here's a walking pair of robot legs, so you don't even have to walk anymore. It's like, okay. Here's a random racetrack, because reasons. So. You think you're actually going to get this one to Back 5? Which one? The Deathloop? Or are you referring to one of the other games that I mentioned? Really interested in checking out more Yakuza games and Judgment. Yeah, no, Lost Judgment looks really good. And it looks like it's very much along the same style, just a different, just a different story and a different take. But I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be really cool. Yeah, Deathloop. Nice. Okay. Cool. Oh, man. I think everything we've checked out tonight has been pretty good. Not really a lot to complain about. Sony's State of Play was actually really good. I commend them on that. They did a really good job with that. The Nintendo Switch OLED model, it's a bit of a meh. It's some nice little upgrades, essentially for the handheld mode. Nothing else really beyond that, besides just the dedicated LAN connection. It's just another Switch. It's just another Switch with a nicer screen. That's really it. Aiden Pierce, the Watch Dogs Legion DLC looks pretty good. And we got a little sneak peek into that Lord of the Rings Gollum. So, pretty cool. I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So, anyway, guys, I think that'll be it for the podcast for the night. We've been going for, gosh, nearly 2 hours. I'm gonna have to cut this up when I actually put it up on YouTube. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Everyone who's actually here live, be sure to stick around afterwards. We're gonna be playing some games after this. I'm gonna play some Endless Legend on stream next, so that'll be the plan. But if you guys are watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you guys saw from the Sony State of Play that you guys are really excited for, or you can tell me how much of an idiot I am for not liking Death Stranding. Whatever you guys want to do. Anyway, guys, yeah. If you guys are watching on YouTube or Odyssey, have a great night. I hope to see you guys around. We do this every night, not every night, every Friday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, or if you guys would like to watch it live, you can check it out at twitch.tv/green_leader87. The link will be in the description below. Yeah, so I hope to see you guys next week for the next episode. Sorry, I'm just trying to get things set up. And yeah, this is Green Leader signing out.